And these things I think we have to talk about. So I'll probably agree with you, but I first wanted to hear your thoughts on why the market, why the Thai industry is one that still emphasizes on Thai, even if like our students are learning in English, which means they have to be good in both. And I think that this is something we don't talk nearly enough about. So, yeah, what are some factors at play that are leading to this Thai language with maybe a little bit of English market that many of our students are into? And so, what are the factors at play?
Hmm. I think, well, there are several ones in my opinion, but I think we could go down like a very interesting road. So let the obvious one, but then the obvious one is connected to that long winding road that I'm not sure if we can go all the way today. But well, the obvious one, education. So English is being taught in a way from experience because I was a volunteer English teacher for a while. The German guy was a volunteer English teacher for a while. English is not being taught in a way that students A like it, B are able to apply it. It's like, here, take this book, learn by heart, and then I'm gonna say, hey, tell me 10 vocabulary from page 25 from the top, and then I tell you 10 vocabularies, and then I'm done and get an A. So the way English is being taught is not necessarily the best, especially like primary school, and then like not private schools. Private schools might be different. International schools are different, but that's the small percentage of students. Most people in public schools, their their education is not that great, and it's not their fault. It's the fault of the educational system. But then also connected to this is like, why is it in that way? And then we can just say, well, culture. So education might not be have like not the most important thing for many people, or hasn't been the most important thing for many people over time. Right now, I hope it becomes more important. But when we look back in history, it's then more like learn something applicable, like that you can do with your hands. Learn farming, learn hospitality, learn whatever. Like focusing on language, for example, wasn't really that big of a deal. And that's now the long and winding road that we could go down. Like, why is the case? Why doesn't culture change in this regard? How hard is it to change something here in Thailand compared to maybe other Southeast Asian countries that changed a little bit faster? Then we could talk about Thailand has never been colonized. Maybe that's the reason, but then we're going to blow it out of proportion. So I think educational system and then the culture, but the culture deserves a way longer discussion. At least that's my opinion. What do you think?
I mean, I think one of the issues is this has gotten better. So I'll preface this by saying it's a lot
Yeah.
better than when I first moved here 6 years ago, in which
Hmm.
I was told to learn how to speak Thai,
Hmm.
and not many people knew how to speak English here. But I think that a lot of it tied to the culture, there just seems to be a general reluctance to really practice the language. Because I think, and I mean, I talked to you about this because, I mean, English is not your first language. So, Sasha, can you give some insight? Like, how did you learn English? Was it just through school, or how did you get your English to where it is now, where you're not really, you speak with somewhat of a German accent, of course, but you can easily understand, you can easily speak at conferences. you know, what was it about? Was it all about your education in Germany? Should we all think, oh, well, it was his German education that he reason why he could speak English? But I mean, speaking from your background, knowing that you come from a country in which the mother tongue is not English, it's actually a different language. How did you go about building that proficiency? Was it all about education, or were there other factors that allowed you to build your English competency? Because I think it's all about education sometimes. And yeah, education is a role, but I feel like there are other factors and things that students and young people can do to build that second language proficiency. So, how did you go about it?
Hmm.
Like, what was your personal insight? Was it all about, yeah, German school got you to where you need to be for your English, or was there more to it than just that?
First off, fun fact, my German accent got worse ever since I moved to Thailand. Before, when I lived in Australia and Spain, I had less of an accent. Ever since I moved here, my accent got stronger. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I don't try to have like an English accent anymore or something like this, or I try to, I don't know, make things sound easier for Thais, and that's why my German accent comes back out again. I'm not sure, but it's gotten worse ever since I moved here. As to how we get like how we become proficient in English in Germany, so actually also not fun, just fact. Thais start studying English before Germans. I think in Thailand you start studying first grade, second grade, kindergarten, sometimes even. In Germany back then, when I started, we started studying English in the fourth grade. So we didn't have any English courses before. I think why I and my friends, why we picked it up so well, I hope, is because it wasn't necessarily boring or like something that we hated. It's not like, hey, you have to know. And it's not like that it was all fun and games. It's just you went to school and you didn't fear school. School was just like, I have to go there. I don't want to wake up in the morning, but okay, I go there and I learn something. And I've spent time with friends and so on. Yes, but here in Thailand, because I spent 3 semesters at a vocational college as a volunteer, right? Here in Thailand, students come to those public schools and they are scared sometimes. They're like, oh god, because in the morning you have to stand in line, then the anthem plays, then you have to pray and so on, and then the teachers check your haircut, they check your uniform if everything is in line and so on. So students are scared when they come to school, and of course that's not a good base to actually learn something. But then also besides just going to classes, because honestly, we didn't have that many English classes back then. At uni, I took then business English. I took like international communication classes and so on. But before I didn't. Before it was just it wasn't that scary because I enjoyed school, and B, my teachers made me understand that if you speak English, you can talk to way more people. You can communicate with the world basically. And I was like, that's cool. I want to learn more. And then I started. John Grisham was my English teacher. I read all John Grisham book between like grade 8 and 10, I believe. I think I could have gone to court in the US and won. So that's how I picked it up. But I think, yeah, the educational system doesn't scare you in Germany. It's not that it's super awesome. It's just not scary. It's just an okay environment. And it's not like dancing in circles and holding hands or something like this. It's just not scary. So you don't need to have like super inventive round classrooms without any corners in the classroom to make it not scary. You just need to be a normal, decent person and don't scare the students, I think.
Yeah. And I think that that's something that we should remember about education is it shouldn't be about discipline. It should be about getting students to think, because as you said, you got into it because you thought English was fun. And that's something that unfortunately sometimes I get the sense that too much emphasis is on how difficult it is. And I mean, I hear so many students talk about their accent, and I don't know. I don't know how you feel about accented English, because that's what something that the students mention. I want to speak with perfect British accent, American accent. And I was just thinking, I just want you to speak English, because if that's your expectation, you're going to be intimidated, and then you're not going to practice, and then you're still going to speak English like a Thai. So, and broken English, I should say.